I reached out because honestly, I felt like I was just at the end of my rope. I had been trying and failing for like over 10 years at losing weight. I spent my entire adult life being very overweight. And I got to a point where I felt like an 80-year-old in a 30-year-old's body. I wasn't able to keep up with my two little babies. And I needed something to change for us. You know, this wasn't the example that I wanted to set for my kids. And that wasn't the life I wanted to live. I felt like I was missing out. When I first reached out, I think some of the biggest struggles I was facing is that I really felt like a prisoner in my body, is the best way I can put it. I couldn't enjoy simple walks with my family. I mean, I'm even talking about being concerned, like how far away a parking space is to make it, into a store or an event or whatever. I was always tired. My body constantly hurt. And I really felt deeply ashamed of being so out of control. In the beginning, I went to go get blood work done, and that was kind of my final straw. Like I said, I felt much older than I was. I knew that everything wasn't right. So I went to the doctor. I got blood work done, and they tested my A1C, which ended up being pretty high into the prediabetes range. And that was a 5.9 at the time. And to me, just seeing that was so scary because that meant that diabetes was imminent. That was going to be my reality at some point. And with prediabetes, you never know. Like that could be in 3 months, it could be in 3 years. But I did not want to find out. So that really scared me enough to just start to get on track. My biggest frustrations with just the health and diet industry in the past is that I feel like everything I tried didn't work because it was so restrictive. Everything required serious restriction in one way or another. Even if I was able to achieve some weight loss, it would always come back after that restriction became too much. Inevitably, I would burn out, and it's just not a way to live. So that was so frustrating, especially after seeing like that little bit of progress, and then for that to go back, and I would always gain that weight back often and then some. And I even saw a hospital nutritionist before I saw you guys, and the hospital nutritionist told me either that I need to go on medication that I didn't want to take. I didn't feel like that was the right path for me. And the other option was to do a hospital program that basically restricts you to like hospital specific foods. It was very, very, very restrictive diet, and it's just purely focused on weight loss, but there's really no focus on any kind of lifestyle or real habit change. And so I knew that was not for me. Researching on Google, I found this program, and just from seeing other testimonials, and especially after speaking to Ashley, I knew right away that this was going to be the right fit for me, because I felt like you guys were focused on me as the client as a whole person and not just a number on a scale that we needed to bring down. My experience has been life changing, and I don't even know if that can really sum it up. My life has changed dramatically in every aspect. I'll never forget my kind of aha moment or breakthrough moment was when you told me that I have unconditional permission to eat whatever I want. And that statement, it was so healing to hear after years of restriction and really like self-loathing over this, and just to be given that permission that like I'm allowed to eat food whatever I want. I know it sounds so simple, but to me that was like revolutionary. So that was a really big breakthrough moment, and I think that gave me what I needed to keep going. My health and nutrition now after being in this program is just completely different. I used to hate walking. I mentioned, I would be concerned about walking too far in a parking lot, or having to go up the stairs to go get something, heaven forbid. And now I regularly walk 10 to 15,000 steps a day for enjoyment. Like this, it's not a chore for me. This is something I really actually love. And because I do that, I've also learned that I love nature and I love being outside. I've discovered I actually really love hiking, and I've taken a 10-mile hike just a couple weeks ago. And not only did I take that, but afterwards I felt so good. I didn't feel like my body was trashed or I wasn't in pain the next day. I felt like good doing that. And that's freedom to me. So that physically has just changed so much. I love exercise now. I love moving my body. And I've also learned that I love making healthy meals. I love that I no longer feel intense guilt for eating foods that I really enjoy. And I've also had a great time finding healthier ways to make foods that I really enjoy. Right. And that's like a process of trying and failing and trying again. But that's always really fun to figure out. And I've had such a good time doing that. I think that's really healed my relationship with food. And actually, as I was this morning, I was going over what I wanted to say here, and I was typing this out on my phone, and I was sitting in the DMV while doing it to get my license picture changed because I have changed so dramatically that people actually called into question my license picture. So I've actually changed. I was changing my license picture this morning. So a lot has changed. So I have lost, I believe, 117 pounds total from my starting weight at the beginning of last year. Since I started with this program, I'm at almost 100. So a pretty dramatic amount of weight that I've lost. I've also just been able to bring my A1C down, like I said. So my A1C was at 5.9. I am now at a 4.9 A1C, which is crazy. I am just so, so proud of that. And also fun facts that just, I've seen my like resting heart rate go down, my blood pressure go down. It's fun to see like those other physical benefits just from living a more healthy, active lifestyle. Something I would say to anybody considering doing the program is just don't hesitate to join. I feel like I wish somebody would have told me this a lot sooner, but you are important and you deserve to feel amazing. And you may not even realize all the ways that your life could change by prioritizing your health. It's so unbelievably important. And there's such a ripple effect. I've seen other people in my life become really interested in, and curious about their own health and start their own journeys just from watching mine. And that's really cool. You never know who you could inspire, and you just never know what could happen. So I would say, do not hesitate. I don't know if I could like put into words how dramatically my life has changed, but I was talking to my friend about this. We now take, so my friend Andrea and I, who I took like a 10-mile hike with, we now do at least a 6.5-mile hike every week, which has been so fun. We just like do that at a forest preserve, and it's a great time. And on our regular walk, there's this really, really giant hill. It is a good incline. And when we were going up that hill, I kind of had this like in my head where I was like, I think this is a lot like the journey that I went on, right? Where, not to sound like too cheesy, but it is very much an uphill thing. And at the time when you're standing at the bottom of it, it seems so big. You're like, there's no way I can get up this thing. But you do. right? Because you can't go back. You have to go forward. You don't have a choice. At some point, you are going to have to go up this hill to get to where you need to go. So you start, you climb, and you get really tired, and you kind of get to that point where you're like, I don't know if I can keep going. I feel like I'm still not there, and I've worked so hard. And then you look behind you and you realize like you're already way over halfway done. Like you've made it so far. It's crazy. And that, just looking back and you're like, oh my gosh, I've made it so far. I think I can do this. And you push yourself to keep going the rest of the way. And when you finally do make it to the top, you kind of have that moment where you're like catching your breath, like, oh my gosh. But then once you do, like, you look back and you're like, I did that. I did that. I did that. I climbed that hill. I did that hard thing that I didn't think I could do. And because I did that hard thing I didn't think I could do, I now know I have this power in me, and I'm going to use that to climb all these other hills. And the next time I come up against one, I'm not going to be as intimidated because I know I have it in me, and it really does feel like that. It's like I said, life changing.